Hello, everybody. Welcome to Greg's Beer Reviews. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews today. Don't know if this is going to be a treat or not. This is Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. I have done their Bourbon Barrel Stout and was not impressed at all. I mean, it didn't have any bourbon qualities at all to have Bourbon Barrel on the front of the label. So don't know if it was, I don't think it was an old batch because I bought it at the grocery store and they have a high turnover of their beers. So this was sent to me by Dave and Danny. I don't know if it actually has a date on this particular bottle. It's already sweating profusely and it's not been out of the fridge a couple of minutes. So we'll see what this one brings. It says here ale aged in oak bourbon barrels. So maybe we'll get a hint of bourbon in this one here, guys. So I mean, I was so unimpressed with the Bourbon Barrel Stout. I bought a 6-pack of them too, and I normally don't do that unless I've had the beer before and know that it's good. But I took that chance and bought a 6-pack of those and ended up giving the other 5 to the other half, and she drank them because I didn't care for it that much. Just didn't impress me. There are a lot of other Bourbon Barrel Stouts that were more impressive than that was. So maybe this will swing my opinion around, and we'll like this one. I sure hope so. So Danny and Dave, thanks for sending me this one. We're going to give it a try, but I'm going to give you my honest opinion of what I think about it. So with that being said, let's get on with this one. This beer is brewed by the Lexington Brewing Company, or Alltech, as what they were known as. They're out of Lexington, Kentucky. This is a fairly big beer at 8.19%. I don't have the IBUs on this beer. Commercial description, it says Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale with a little creative curiosity. We use spent bourbon casks fresh from decanting and filled them with our very own Kentucky ale. From barrels that once held the finest bourbons in Kentucky, we present Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale, a smooth golden elixir unlike any other. Subtle yet familiar flavors of vanilla and oak are imparted to the special ale as it rests in the charred barrels. We attribute this to what the bourbon maker calls the angel share. Elegantly smooth and modestly carbonated, Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale is a fine sipping ale with a distinctive nose of a well-crafted Kentucky bourbon. Well, we'll see about that. Don't think there's any other description listed here. It says the same thing over on Beer Advocate. So we'll go right on over to food pairing. Cuisine is curried, and the cheese are earthy Camembert Fontina, your tangy cheeses, Bricketta and feta. And it says the meat is pork, grilled meat, and salmon. Glass-fired pint, Becker, Nonic tumbler, the mug, the stein, the Sidel. I got the pint glass today for this one, guys. And it says not recommended for extended cellar rings. But let's get the cap off of this. I'm anxious to find out if this is going to be a good beer or not. Alright, into the glass we go. Let's go down the center a little bit and see. Okay, yeah, it's going to generate a pretty good head, so we're going to ease off on that. Go down the side here so we can get it all in the glass. Don't know how long it's going to stick around. It'll probably dissipate pretty quickly. It looks like it's pretty good sized bubbles. Over to the light, I can see right through it. It is a pretty clear beer. I'd say it is a filtered, and not being a bottle conditioned beer. It is a nice amber color. I mean, it looks pretty good in the glass. Let's get a nose on it. I'm getting a strong maltiness to it, maybe a little caramel and toffee in there. Not getting a big bourbon nose on this. I mean, they really must be using well-used barrels to do this. I'm very surprised that it doesn't have an overwhelming bourbon nose on these beers. I mean, I can just barely tell there's any kind of bourbon in there, and it is ever so slight. And I don't know whether that's caused from being an older beer or what. I mean, I'm not really sure. To have that big bourbon barrel on the label, you would really think it would be strong in the bourbon aspect. And like I suspected, the head is dissipated completely now, so it's just barely covering the top of the beer. I am getting just an ever so slight amount of the bourbon, but not much. Let's give it a taste and see what we got. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Dave, Danny. I appreciate it, sirs. I mean, it is so slight, I'd be embarrassed to put bourbon barrel on the label. I really would. If you didn't tell me this was a bourbon barrel aged, I would not know it. A very decent ale, but as far as bourbon barrel, not getting it. Just not getting it, guys. And like I said, I don't know what the age of this is. I don't believe they date their stuff. We'll take another closer look when I come back for the final chug and see if there's anything written on the bottle. It's really hard to tell when it's got that much condensation on it. I mean, I will say this, it's a well-made beer. I'm not getting any of that 8.19% alcohol. Slight hint of some vanilla in there, but not much. I am getting a slight bit of oakiness in there, but the bourbon is eluding me. I'm getting some malt caramel, slight hint of toffee, slight hint of some woodiness and a slight hint of vanilla, but that's about it. So let's let it warm up. It's 40 degrees right out of the fridge, and see if that bourbon comes out here at the end. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. I am not impressed. I mean, this may have, the stout had so much more in this, you know, as a stout usually does, in their roastiness and chocolate and coffee and all that, and it may have been covering up the bourbon, but this being a straight ale, and it's classified as an American strong ale, but not enough to have bourbon barrel written all across it. I mean, you're not getting it now. I looked at the bottle when I came back and sat down. There is no dating on there, so that's a big no-no in my opinion. Danny, Dave, I'm gonna be brutally honest. I would not pick this beer up if I seen it in the store. So let's do the final chug on this. Reminds me of an English ale. It's very well made. I'm not getting any of the alcohol. Slight hint of some vanilla in there, toffee, caramel, and some woodiness in there from being in the barrels. But as far as bourbon, I am just not getting it. I'm just not getting that bourbon quality to this beer. So I mean, this is two different ones from this brewery. Maybe it's old. I don't know. There's no way of telling if there's not a date on the bottle. So whether they're labeling the 6-packs or the case or not labeling anything at all, this bottle does not have anything written on it that I can see anywhere. And being an 8.19%er, it's not going to go bad very quick, but still, if you're looking for that bourbon barrel aspect in it, you'd want to get it fairly fresh to get that. So, guys, it's a 5. It's a B minus. It's above average because it's brewed well. I'm not getting any of the alcohol, so it's fairly easy drinking for an 8%er. It really is. I mean, if you had a 6-pack of these and we're sipping them down, you'd catch your buzz pretty quick before you realize it. So it's an above average beer in that aspect, but to be called a bourbon barrel ale, I'm just not getting it. It's lacking in that quality. So. Lexington Brewery, I don't know what's going on with you cats. First of all, you need to start dating your stuff. And second of all, to be calling this stuff bourbon barrel stuff, not impressive. So, Danny, Dave, sorry to be so brutally, and I do appreciate you guys sending me this and letting me try because I haven't had it before. And I was kind of hoping it was going to blow me away with the bourbon quality aspects of it, but it does not. So, a nice, tasty, above average ale. But if you're looking for the bourbon qualities, you're going to be disappointed in this one. Unless you're standing at the end of the bottling line and know how fresh it is, that would be the only way you would know how old the beer is. So like I said, there's no dating on this bottle whatsoever. So B minus from me. We're going to give it to 5. Let's see what everybody else thinks. We'll go over to Beer Advocate first. And Beer Advocate says 83 in their good range. If I was putting a number on this, it would probably be somewhere between a 79 and an 81. So we're not far off there from these guys on their rating. And over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 60 overall and 19 in the style. So pretty harsh numbers from them. I think it's a little bit better made beer than that, but just not getting the bourbon qualities and not having a date on it to know how old it is. I don't know how old it is. Basically, that's how it goes. So, like I said, being an 8.19%er, it's not going to go bad super quick. But I kind of like to have that information and just to know how old the beer is before you pick it up or while you're drinking it. So, or how long to cellar it. So, with that being said, guys, if you've had this one, this is the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. Give me some comments back on this one. Not getting the bourbon in this one, just like I did in the last one from those guys. So. Maybe they're washing the barrels a little too much after they had the bourbon in them. I don't know. But anyway, let me know if you've had it, guys. That's all we're going to say about this one. Let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. Maybe we can find something just a little bit better than this one. See you then.